Weird science
is the revolution.
Superior Spider-Man number 4. It is written by Dan Slott, pencils by Mark Bagley, inks by John Dell, and letters by VC Joe Caramagna. And on the cover, you see an old guy. I thought it was the father, the older, like, grandfather from King of the Hill. That's who I thought it was.
Yeah.
What's going on?
He still
there?
has his kneecaps, though.
Isn't it Cotton?
Yeah,
Cotton Hill. Yeah, I thought it was Cotton there. Yeah,
I don't like this cover. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I don't love it either. First off, if you kind of knew, you'd be like, okay, that spoils a bit of it. But also, and we'll say, it's Uncle Ben on the cover. Look at that belt the guy's got. Well,
Spider-Man belt buckle. Come on, man.
What is going on here? So you end up getting into this issue. It's not great. We have been really liking Superior Spider-Man. In fact, that when I make videos of our reviews, almost every bit of naming it, thumbnail, has been almost trying to, like, fight people. Like, come on, you got to read this. Put all your Dan Slott hate behind. It's this and Spider-Boy. We've been telling people these are pretty good books if you aren't enjoying the Zeb Wells stuff. And I don't know if you just heard what we were saying. You may realize that we don't. So it was a good alternative. And a lot of people say, well, if you're going to read anything by Dan Slott, why not be the Superior Spider-Man stuff? It's his best stuff. But this issue shows you that the story is kind of paper thin, that is member berries. You could have done everything in this issue with a page and then went on. I don't know. You ended up at the last issue, though. It was the big cliffhanger. Oh, no. Doc Ock's going to do the Superior Spider-Man. I mean, really do it. And we didn't think that would happen. So I
thought he actually did it.
Yeah. And I thought, that's weird. I don't know. People will like it. It doesn't make sense if you think about all the books combined. But hey, go for it. Let's see what that means. And he ends up where at the beginning of this, you have Peter fighting it. You can't do this. Oh, my God, Doc, you don't. And he's like, you can't stop me. We already did it. He's actually in Peter's mind, trying to get to the point of fully switching. Now, remember, he wants to do this because he needs to save Anna. By the end of this, you get that neat little twist. I'll tell you, I think that the only thing that I like is the idea of starting it with, I have no other option. He's crazed. I got to stop. Supernova has Anna. That is Doc Ock's fault. The only way I can stop her is becoming Superior Spider-Man in Peter again. To then at the end for Peter to remind Doc, remember how we defeated Goblin and saved Anna last time? You gave me back my DLC. Have that back and forth. But the idea where they're just going to fight. They're fighting in the mind. So what you're going to get is a lot of classic costumes. There's more costume changes in this than there is at a Lady Gaga concert.
I was going to say that Lady Gaga.
I usually go Cher, but I wanted to update my
Beyonce,
game.
maybe.
So yeah, you end up where that's pretty much what it is. You even at one point, I swear to God, at one point the art's like, oh, that's Andrew Garfield. All right, we do this. We keep going, and then Doc Ock says, since I'm in the mind, I could do whatever I want. Oh my God, I'm Doc Ock. I'm so great. I have the Sinister Six. Here's the Sinister 600. Thing is, we kind of have seen this stuff before. It's a neat page. You get all these villains. But the thing is, you're in Peter's mind. So I think he might be able to do some things as well, which he says, oh, yeah? Well, we're in my mind, so here you go. And he does end up where if this fight ended up happening at this point, the Sinister Hunt, they're done.
The Rogues Gallery would be taken down pretty fast.
I'm going with the idea here that Peter is so confident that that Aunt May is there. I mean, like, really, you don't need Aunt May there. She's not going to, but she's there because he's so confident that everybody else is going to mop up with him. You do end up having one of the best things ever, though. Mary Jane's there. I don't see Paul from here to eternity. He's gone.
Nowhere to be found.
It's so good.
How are the Ducks there, but no Paul?
Yeah, no Paul, but Spider-Boy is. You have all these things going on, but I'm telling you, if you see this page, you have the who's who of really hard hitters, and you could even take half of these away. Doc Ock's in big trouble, but you never get this fight. What you do is you're going to go through the memories. Oh, man, we're going to wrestle now, because I remember when I was in the memories, you first wrestled Crusher Hogan, but none of this really means much because we zip in and out as the customs change, as you have different things going on. Yeah, there's some people trying to help at one point, too, but you'll end up having young Doc Ock. Then you'll get the old Doc Ock, then you'll get the sick Doc Ock, you'll get Peter in his black Spider-Man costume. Well, it's just it's there. It would be neat if it was something else, maybe. But where we are in doing this, it just feels like complete filler. The art's okay. I think people will get a kick out of the art. But do you agree, like, some of the things happen too quick anyway?
Anytime I see dream or mind of the mind, I kind of check out. So it's not as invested in it. Yeah.
It's weird, too, because this whole thing is Dream Warrior until it isn't, but it kind of is. Because then they end up where Doc Ock, and he's just, here's the thing, too. If you really want to get, laughing, Peter beats the living crap out of sick Doc Ock. Like, poor sick Doc Ock. He can barely move.
Yeah.
Peter slams him
Just relentlessly smashing him
down. Says never again. I'm like, oh, that's not so nice.
I didn't like that look, man. That always freaked me out. I was glad when he died or whatever.
Yeah, it's really freaky. But then says, don't you understand what we're doing? Why we're doing it? It's because of her. And then all of a sudden in the mine, a giant supernova pops up and you have Peter yell, supernova? And then Doc Ock, no, you don't, Anna. She kind of comes in the hand. None of this makes sense. But then we go off to supernova. And we said before, we got from the beginning, and I said one of my pet peeves lately in the past couple of years, there are no villains. They are just heroes you haven't met yet. Every villain is just a good person needing a hug. And I think that's what's going to happen with Supernova.
Oh, yeah, totally misunderstood.
Supernova was tricked to get out of the whole, abandoned AIM base, where she ended up having, in a cell. Anna was in a cell, says, oh, man, you're kind of confined area for the first time since you were in that thing. And you had Supernova kind of hyperventilate, freak out, and wants some fresh air. Goes out and actually at this point thinks, I really don't need to do this.
I should just go roam the stars, learn about the galaxy.
Almost like, a female Silver Surfer.
It's basically like that, yeah.
So she's like, I'm Supernova. I belong amongst the stars, just like Lady Gaga. And says, I could do that. I could travel and see the wonders of the universe, something that would be crazy. And just as a thing to remember, she is a scientist. She is a quantum physicist. This whole reason why she got involved in this is she actually is smarter for certain things than Doc Ock, and ended up being, kind of get jealous, not even jealous, get mad because Doc Ock stole her research, all that. So she is interested in the sciencey stuff that I could see her roaming the galaxy. And she says she'll do it.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. That'd be cool.
And then the last second, she's like, oh, I would, but Spider-Man goes right back. All this is a setup that I think that's what she'll end up doing. She'll end up realizing, hey, I'm going to put all this aside. I don't want it. She wouldn't want to hurt Anna. She's just mad at Spider-Man. It just happens that it was Doc Ock. But I think at the end, she says, I'm just going to go and travel the stars. And that actually...
It'd be cool.
Yeah, that's actually a cool thing to do in a way that if you ever want her back... There she is. If you want to have her on a cosmic book, she's already out there.
Yeah, I was thinking Invincible with Robert Kirkman. She would just fly off, and then you wouldn't see her for 20 issues.
And if you want her to come back, people, her come back. If not, you could always just say she's out.
Because it's what she actually would do is leave.
Yeah, she just leave. And that makes sense for the character. So instead, she's like, no, I gotta stop Spider-Man. Oh my! And you are playing where she was kind of tortured. It was sensory deprivation for forever, and so she is a little off. But she goes back, wants to find Anna, and then just pretty much supernovas because she realized that Anna tricked her and skedaddled out. So the cool play here is that Doc Ock and Peter, while they're busy fighting in the mine, Anna's gotten out herself. Like, she is tough, and she has already gotten out. So when they double back to go get it, they're probably not there going to save Anna. I bet you that she actually saves them by coming and trying to talk sense into Supernova. I think she would be the one to kind of because she did when she even said to be the dupe, hey, you were in confined. She understands. She was there. She understands what she went through and also seems to be a little sympathetic to it, even though she had to use that to escape. So you go back in, and I'm telling you, you're right. With that sick Doc Ock, when you see just the face, it's not a good look.
It's hideous.
It's so bad. So what you'll have here, it gets a little convoluted because you'll have Spider-Man versus Spider-Man. Eventually you'll have, Iron Deal, but it still gets a little bit back and forth. But so they're talking a lot of trash, and you'll have Doc Ock. I was the best Spider-Man. I used my ideas, and I was better, and I was superior. And Peter, throughout all this, is just trying to stop Doc Ock from switching again. But now it goes too far. Because when you have Doc Ock, looks like he's about to pretty much knock the crap out of in the mind Peter, Uncle Ben shows up. Now, he doesn't have that belt buckle in the regular deal, thank God. But he shows up to, hey, my boy, here I am, Uncle Ben, and I'm going to take care of this. And like, yeah, Uncle Ben, go. And yeah, Doc Ock, this isn't fair. He's yelling, but that's okay, but it's kind of like eye rolling, right?
I mean, Uncle Ben's beating the crap out of him. He's like an elderly guy. I don't know.
This is Paul Bunyan.
Does he have superpowers?
Right? I mean, seriously, but it's in the mind. So
he's got that old man strength, that some guys have. He can open a pickle jar
he's like
with no
Jack
problem.
LaLanne. he opens a pickle jar and then like swims the freaking English Channel, pulling a boat by his teeth.
Exactly.
Some stupid stuff ever. Here's where I thought, if you want to go with it, if you want layers, I would like to, and maybe you can play this out here. The idea that in Peter's mind, he is such Uncle Ben's my hero. He's such a big guy, and maybe that could, but he's way too big. He's beating the crap. Oh my God, he's taking it out. All of a sudden, Uncle Ben's like beating up Doc, and he's like, "Take that, you burglar that shot me!" Like he keeps yelling stuff. But he's like, "Oh, and by the way, this isn't all that's going to happen, because it's not enough for an old man to beat you up. You end up, and he's like, hey, I have another one," and says, hey, and you have Peter's like, how? Oh my God. And even Doc Ock, oh my God, how? This is your better half, Peter. And I'm like, oh, Mary Jane. I'm like, oh, no. It's Multiversal Peter Parker, the doctor. Dr. Peter Parker that never was bitten by the spider. I'm like, now we're going too far. Like already I was rolling my eyes, but now we're going to get Dr. Peter Parker, the guy, and has to mention, I never got bitten by the spider. And then, but you were still a hero. And he just blasts the crowd.
He's got tech now, no powers, but tech.
So remember, this is all the mind. So, but it still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And then they just have, what is always the double punch. It's always cool, but it's Peter and then Doc Peter.
He's got a powered gauntlet or something.
Yeah, gauntlet, right? He's there. He's got his cane. You got it all. And they punch him, but in a way that the art didn't look good in the choreography. But then that breaks them out of the mind for some reason. And everything's shorted out. I thought it was going to start a fire. It looks like the ants are just completely electrocuted, but they were trash talkers anyway. I actually was upset earlier that they didn't trash talk at the deal. Now they're there. Oh, bleep.
That's what it should have said, yeah.
Wouldn't that have been good
if
they actually, even if you had wingdings of some sort of because they look dead.
Yeah.
R.I.P. So we get the mutilation of kind of sentient spiders and also beating up old sick Doc Ock. Oh, we got heroes. So you end up where Peter breaks out of this deal. And so when we get to this, we're at the end, obviously, but at the end, oh, Doc Ock's so sad. Oh, I guess that you're not going to need me, but, Anna needs Superior. Peter has to remind, but you came and got me back to save her the last time. All right, well, I guess I'm going to go kick the can in the corner here. No, let's do this together. And I swear to God, there was at a point where Doc Ock was going to be like, I'm kind of out of shape. Because it almost feels like he wants him to suit up as the son. I thought that what we'd get, right?
Yeah. Peter should say to him, hey, listen, I know you have been around paying attention, but there's this new drug called Ozempic. We can get you in that suit real
All
fast.
The stars want to take it, and also Jim's wife, who's been trying desperately to figure out a loophole of the insurance, because that stuff is not insured, and it shouldn't be.
We'll get you in fighting shape in no time, back in that
so
costume,
Doc. Because you would want this big play of, again, not of the mind, of real Superior Spider-Man, let's go save her. Plus, that would confuse Supernova. The problem is Doc Ock is not in shape, and he will look like one of those jerk-offs who's like 45, still trying to fit in their Letterman's jacket, on Thanksgiving Day, going to the game and can't even button that thing anymore, and it's bad. So he's like, no, we're going to do it together because she needs you, Dr. Otto Octavius. It would be funny. He's like, you want me to suit up? No, just keep what you're wearing, you big fat, so let's go. And then that would be great because they already beat him up. So now you shame him. Oh, my goodness gracious. So you have to be continued, obviously. But by the end of this, I thought, Yeah, you didn't do anything. Basically, you had a cliffhanger. Oh my God, Superior Spider-Man. Then you go of the mind. Just have Peter break out and say, come on, we're both going to go save her. By this point, she probably should be dead, but she kind of got out herself. So we'll see. We'll see if all this comes to play, especially like the Supernova being more sympathetic. Looks like not going to be bad at the end because it really wasn't her fault. But
not at all.
I'll give you this too. If you were really going to have Supernova as, okay, we're going to have villain, she would have killed people by now. She would have ripped things. She was attacking, but it was always just Spider-Man. And I think that's how the play has been from the get-go. Collateral Damage almost killed Spider-Boy, but didn't. So,
It's like Livewire in the DC universe. Like, she kills people,
Yeah, but never went that step. So I think it will be just, I'm going to go and travel the universe and look for a cure to my supernova-ness. All right, see you later. Off she goes. Yeah. So we'll see. And then, just happens to find Rocket Raccoon or something later. You could do a lot of things. Nova
takes care of that real fast.
Oh, God. Nobody's taking care of that. So with all that, what would you give this?
I'm still invested, and I still like it. I like 85% of the art in this.
You have a lot of stuff going on.
Yes, because of that, there's a lot of costumes to organize and all that stuff. I'd still like it. I'll give it a 7 for this issue.
Yeah, I can't go that high. I'm actually going to be. I want to give it a 5.5. I'm going to be nice and give it a 6. But it's still one of those where it doesn't affect my overall feeling for the series, but. Legitimately, I mean, I can't. I have to.
I think we gave the last issue a 9 or something.
I know. I have to go 5.5, and the reason why I'm saying that, you don't have. If you skip this issue, you didn't miss anything. You missed nothing.
Weird science is the revolution.